At last, for fuck's sakes, I was starting to get bored. But yes, indeed, Carver, of course, has once more managed to start a fire without even striking a match. You see, oh, where were we? There was the incident with, yes, some punches to the face, some sort of a couple of kidnappings actually, and, the funky flowers, and the don't stick your dick in those, you learn the hard way, and, right, yes. Well, Suzanna, just as much as Carver had acquired his fire, Suzanna likewise acquired her own special dark spark, if you will. And then Carver, in search of his need to help his sire grow the garden she lost, or whatever the fuck, decided, by means of helping the person teaching them, to return to the twisted page owned and ran by the Malkavian Katherine, and being a little too open once again in his questions, exposed her to the unfortunate horror that elicited his most recent transformation. And she fared no better than he in experiencing that traumatic revelation. To her husband's, what word even goes here? Pain failure? She actually managed to thwart his attempts to both pacify and contain her, and then went running straight into the arms of the town's Brujah she thought would protect her, not knowing that in their midst that night was in fact one opposed to her knowing that particular set of information. But so as to ensure that we get all of this in the fullness of chronological order, let us begin with Suzanna's whereabouts the night Carver went back to the swamp, because she was, in fact, for once, at work.
Yeah, so Susanna has been working with another police officer. Her name escapes me at the moment. On a particularly important case.
Willow?
Willow, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That they have been pursuing together for some time now, a couple months. And I assume tonight is the next step in their procedures. That tonight would be their raid. I believe would that be
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Not so much a raid, but you are staking out a suspected meeting point between Jackson and the most recent suspect Willow has located, well, you and Willow to working together have located, as one of the strongmen he has charged to enact his coercion on other landlords he seeks to buy out when they're less than cooperative. You are stationed outside of a small hotel that actually, Susanna, you fucking recognize. The sign is burned into your memory from the night you woke up hungry for blood.
This is the you said a hotel.
Mm-hmm. The hotel you guys went to try to find
Oh,
shelter after you left Charity Hospital.
oh man.
It
Okay.
was not doing so hot then, according to the peeling paints, faded wallpaper, and other evidences of wear that hadn't really been kept up with. And tonight it is just as worn and flirting with a line of dilapidation, even. And still, it appears that the owner would not sell. Willow's contact had basically told her that sorry, I'm thinking of how to put it. Um, this was the next expected site that would, shall we say, have problems.
Okay.
And the suspect, you think, might be inside enacting those particular measures.
So this is like a protection racket, or is it like an intimidation thing? What do we think this guy is actually doing?
You think that he is inside sabotaging the building in some way that is actually not arson. It turns out Jackson has a whole host of means that he uses, not limited to blackmail,
Hmm.
bribes, physical coercion, general fear mongering, harder to trace, that sort of intimidation, and then structural sabotage, most visibly arson, but also other sorts of failures, including waterworks.
Ah, okay, okay.
Like,
Um, yeah. So while they're kind of outside and sitting in their car, um, Susanna would turn to Willow and she'll say, "All right, do we have a plan?"
she presses her lips together, but then kind of dips her head forward, taking a sip of her coffee before dropping it back down into the cup holder. And with a sigh, she says, well, best I can figure is, and she's gonna eyeball a certain, it's right on the corner of the building. Kind of hard to see, but basically, it's an older style of water tank that's local to the building itself instead of it purely coming through the pipes. And it runs down and splits off in a couple of directions down the side of, or like over the roof. And you can only kind of like just make, well, you see it fucking clear as day because of your recent developments. But most people, especially humans, could only like with focused attention really kind of make it out at night, seeing as it doesn't sit under a street light. So it's kind of this darker smudged line along the facade and just over the top onto the roof of the building. And if our suspicions are correct, and he's working on setting up a break to the water system, there's going to be a sign of it. So we either wait for something to break and try to catch him on the way out, or we could make a show of going in looking around and then try to catch him in the act. We don't officially know he's here, if you catch my drift.
Suzanne will think for a bit, and she'll say, "Well, we need charges to stick him with. So if we go in and he sees us snooping around and hasn't done anything yet, he might try and get out of it, and then we're kind of out of luck. So we wait until he breaks something."
She nods. Fine by me. We should either be able to hear it or see something, I guess. I don't expect there are too many patrons, so probably would take a while for anyone to notice except maybe a worker on the
He'll nod.
inside.
Should we split up, look at this from different angles, or maybe take separate patrols around the tank?
She presses her lips together again and then nods. Yeah, I think that might be best.
Okay. I'll go left. You go right.
All right.
And yeah, so that's kind of what she'll do. She'll kind of take the left side of the building in view of the tank, and leave Willa to take the right side.
All right. And as you are um going in, all right, you said you took the left side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there is a little bit of um on both sides somewhat of an alley, but they go in they don't meet. This place does have another building jutting up back onto it. And or rather they do meet at the back and kind of a horseshoe around it, but the alleys don't terminate in those corners. They do extend past it on your side. And when you first get there, it's an alley, rough pavement, trash strewn about, kind of a little too narrow for a car, but a bit wider at the back where the once you slink down past the sides of the building itself, which is about 3 floors and extends maybe 60 feet back from the street, you get to a point where the alley sort of opens up for a moment onto a parking lot between two other buildings next to the hotel. And from there, the dumpsters, they're kind of wedged right up against that wall. And I'm going to draw this out so that that's
Okay.
a little bit easier to visualize. Did I? Oh, there we go. I was like, where did my? It still has all the lizard folk on it. So if this is the hotel, and then let me go grab your tokens real quick. Oh, that's not what I wanted. So she's going this way, and you're over here. And so the next building on your side, and then so here is the hotel, and then these paths in the middle, of course, are hallways, well, alleyways. And then there's one more building over here that heads off in that direction, with this open area being a parking lot, more or less.
Okay.
And then these little guys, for the shading right here, is where the dumpsters are. So, where else is Suzanna gonna go? Or which is she gonna go in any particular direction, or just stop to inspect anything in particular?
Yeah, I think she's kind of coming around this way, looking around the dumpster, and then kind of circling around here through this side of the hotel. So like
Okay.
up and to the
Mhm.
right.
Okay. And of course, Willow is doing the same on the right hand side. And then for a moment, you will see her as you get to the end, and she'll nod to you. And on the back side here is where this area along that face of the building is where the fire escape happens to be located.
Mm.
So you see her through the grating of the fire escape down at the other end, and she looks right back down this way, and then she looks back towards you, and she says, or she doesn't say, or rather, she signals that she's going to stop and go check down in that direction just to make sure that there's not, like, that you hadn't, well, to check for the general things, like whether or not you'd missed him, if there had been, like, a getaway car or anything like that hanging out on another road nearby.
Mm.
And then roll me a perception check.
Sure. Uh, yeah. Now we have to like count up how many successes we got, huh? One,
Uh,
two, three, four.
yep,
Yeah,
4.
four.
Yep. Did you want to reroll that 10?
Yeah. No. So 4 successes.
Okay. Alright, then you are quite clearly going to hear the clink of something like a wrench falling onto rubber or concrete somewhere on the roof.
Okay. Is Willow still inside of her?
Uh, she is, but like you'd have to either run well to catch up with her, or risk blowing your cover by yelling to her to get back down. You could radio, but that, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, I guess Suzanne is going to try and go up the fire escape then.
Okay. Yep. And give me a dex stealth to see if you're able to get up the fire escape without making any of it like
Yep. I do
clatter.
not have any. I don't have any dex, but let's give it a shot. Or I don't have any stealth. Does that increase the difficulty for this?
It is physical, so no.
Okay.
I mean, I
Two
guess
six
technically it should probably be. Like, anyway, go ahead.
two successes.
Yes. Okay. So it's not the smoothest thing. It takes you a little bit more time, but you're able to get up there without any. Like, you get the ladder down without it clanging on the ground. You catch it in time, and you're able to sort of anticipate where the kind of rustiness on the metal mesh here and there indicates it might be a little loose, so you don't cause any creaking. And you do get to the top of the roof. And then when you do, you see. Hang on, the picture's still uploading. Because, of course, I forgot to set that up on here before the game started. You see someone with a black hoodie and kind of like a darker leather jacket with some rough looking jeans, but they're not like the sort of stuff you'd see in a department store. They're more like that heavy duty, really deep blue denim with the loops and things that you kind of have on the sides and towards the back below the pockets for tools or whatnot. And they're kneeled down in front of the water tank, which is more or less sitting right there. And they have not noticed you.
Okay. She's gonna hang tight for a bit just to see what this guy's doing, making sure that this is their target and not like some maintenance guy that she's
Mm-hmm.
about to scare the crap out of.
Okay.
So she's gonna give it like a minute or two, kind of see what this guy is doing.
And they've got the wrench back in their hand. Oh, daggum. Just so you can make it out. I know it's a little bit dark. But they have the wrench back in their hand. And she's not clanging it, but she's sort of tapping a little bit on what looks like a kind of a gasket on one of the hoses. And there is like a grate that would have been like a drain that you can kind of see just peeking out under the edge of a tarp that seems to be sitting under the end down here of the tank. And it seems to have been like deliberately kind of taped so that the water doesn't run into the drain. And there is an AC unit sitting very, very close to where they're tapping away at this gasket. And if the water can't flow off into the drain, I'll make that another little circle so you can see where it's at over here. Then it's going to start flooding into the crevices where the sealant and even a little bit of the ceiling are starting to peel back from the edges where it's corroded over the years around the base of this AC unit.
Okay. Yeah, she'll get onto the roof properly, and she will pull out her gun and very much yell out to this guy to indicate that she's there, and she'll say, "Hands up! Drop the wrench!"
And they turn towards you for a flash of a second with the hood still kind of clinging to their face, but you see like dark hair covering the side and get pretty much just like you see in the token of lighting, where from the little bit of light that does filter down, that's the sort of standout structure of their face that you can make out. And then you can tell where their eyes are, but you aren't quite able to make out their color. And then the complexion is a very healthy, young looking skin, and their lips are not chapped. You see their hands, and they look almost fucking manicured. And the boots that like their treads and everything, they look like work boots, but they're not the cheap kind that you just get at like a walk-in department store. And for that matter, that jacket's not exactly a cheap accessory either. And in that split second as you're taking in these details with this person staring at you, they have this sort of freeze moment while you're pointing their gun at them. And then they go to stand up, like they're gonna try to run.
Yeah, she'll tell them to stop, to freeze, and not to move. Kind of yell out to them.
Okay. And they are not listening. They are instead um, turning as you call out again, and like you're right there where the arrow is in this, and they are. I'm gonna shrink the token down. They're right here. So as you call out this second time, they've stood up, and they're moving to dart between where the tarp's drain is, and the AC unit to move to this side of the building.
Okay.
So we can do
I
initiative
would
rolls if you'd like,
assume,
or go ahead.
yeah, however you envision this, for sure.
Yep. Um. So go ahead and roll your initiative. And I don't see a reason for a turn stat because it's just the two of you. So
What is initiative again?
just roll your it's roll your d10 and then it is Dex Composure. I want to say. I want to double check.
So it'll be
Yeah,
13.
yeah. It's your wits rather than your composure. It's wits and Dex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then it'll be wits and dex. It will be 14.
Okay. All right. So you roll a 14, and they are only gonna have. Ooh, that sucks for them. So, well, their roll would have been a 5, but you say this, and they actually go to run, and their foot fucking catches on the corner of the AC unit, and they trip and fall on their fucking face.
Yeah. She's gonna try and use the opportunity to. I mean, if it seems like this person is still going to be fleeing, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I assume she has some form of like non-lethal, um, control with her, like a taser or something
Mm-hmm.
that she can use.
Yep.
So she'll take that out, and she'll repeat again, and she's going to say, "Don't move. You're under arrest."
And the person is scrambling, and you hear them like I wouldn't say loudly, but like exasperated, just kind of exclaim "fuck," and they're like kicking the AC unit as they get their boot from around the corner where it got caught, and then they're still scrambling to their feet, not heeding these instructions at all.
Okay, she's gonna try and shoot him with the taser.
Roll it.
I'm assuming she's kind of moved a little bit closer.
Oh yeah. That just counted as a Dex firearms because it
That's what I was thinking too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite the same range, but it in other respects is more or less the same thing as far as the shoot, aim, pull trigger bit.
Few successes.
Okay. So yes, you are absolutely gonna latch onto this person.
Yeah, she'll incapacitate him, or just try to.
Yep. And so it's gonna go off, and she is wearing, or well, yeah, you can tell at this point it's a girl, but she is with the leather. It's not quite as direct as it might have been, but it definitely hits her, and she falls back down, kind of like curling up into a ball. She yells "fuck" again, and kind of in that sort of fetal position, curling up around her, and like yanking at the leads. After this thing runs its course, or like trying to, but she's a little bit stunned and isn't moving quite right just yet.
Yep. So Susanna's gonna run up to her and try and cuff her.
And you'll be able to get a hold of her.
Yep. And as she's cuffing her, she'll read her Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent, etc. And she'll call out to Willow and she'll say, "Up here over the the fire escape."
And you're going to hear um, Willow just radioing. Well, actually, just the sounds of her coming back up the fire escape, probably. And then her head will peek out from over the edge of the roof behind you.
Mm.
And as she gets a somewhat of a look, because you're kind of in between her and the perp, she replies back with a, "Huh, good catch."
And yeah, she'll just turn back to Willow and she'll say, "Oh, I got lucky. She tripped and fell right over there." And just kind of like points to the area where the
And the girl doesn't say anything else. She's glaring at you. And have you pulled her up off the ground yet?
No, I don't think so. I think she's just kind of letting her lay on the ground for a little while with the handcuffs on. Um, just sort of letting her like stew in what she's been caught with. And
And
she'll
go ahead.
oh god.
Um, Willow makes a comment about well, fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Some sort of comment about like the girl's face and not looking like she belongs on a roof, especially not at this time of night. To which the girl just flips her the bird with both of her hands that are cuffed and still, because of the way she's turned, kind of visible to Willow.
Hmm. And Susanna just kind of shakes her head at the girl and just kind of say, "Don't make this worse on yourself. You're already in a bad situation." And yeah, she'll go to lift the girl up, and she'll kind of turn to Willow, and she'll say, "All right, help me get her to the car. We'll drive her in."
Yep. And you all will be able to get her down and to the car.
Yeah, so kind of their standard practice. She'd load the girl up into the back seat. Just kind of turn around and make sure that everything seems, once she's in the front seat, make sure everything's, hunky dory.
Mm-hmm.
The girl's kind of secure. There's nothing out of the ordinary. And then, yeah, I mean, if nothing else, she's gonna, with Willow, probably drive off to the precinct.
All right. And you will be able to drive off to the precinct. Is there any dialogue in the car on the way there? Your captive is rather sullen, but maybe she responds if you talk to her. Who's to say?
Yeah, she'll as they're kind of driving, she'll look to the back and say, just kind of looking in the rearview mirror, she'll say, "Jackson put you up to this?"
And her lips press together in a flatter line, and she says, "You read me my rights? I'm not seeing shit."
um. Oh God, Susanna's humanity 3, yo.
Yup.
She's gonna swerve the car quickly so that this girl slams her head into the side of the door.
Oh my god, I love that. Okay. Um, and Willow's looking at you like, and actually exclaims, "Jesus Christ!" as she like grips on, like braces herself against the window. And this girl can't do that because of where her arms are like stuck behind her back. So she does full on get slammed right into the fucking window, and of course, exclaims, "Fuck!" again, as is apparently her favorite word. And she says, "What the hell?"
Sorry, there was a rabbit in the road.
Sure, yeah, I totally believe that. And her tone is a bit um worried.
Anyway, you were about to tell us about Jackson.
I wasn't about to tell you anything. Thanks. And Willow's kind of like side eyeing you, and like she side eyes you, and then her eyes flick back in the opposite direction to where she still has her arm kind of braced up against the window, and then looks back at you and says, "Oh, watch out! I think I see another rabbit."
Oh my god. Yeah, I think she'll take the cue and kind of swerve the car again.
And this time, the girl like tries to brace herself, but it still doesn't work, and like trying so hard to keep herself leaning in the opposite direction, um, she just ends up sliding because the seats aren't exactly like there's not enough friction to keep her in place, and she hits her head on the glass this time harder, and this time just sort of groans instead of actually exclaiming. And then after that passes, she says, "Shit, I'm not gonna remember anything if you keep doing that." I guess you're one of those bad cops, huh?
Susanna thinks about that for a second, and she'll say, just kind of under her breath, if you had any idea.
um, Willow's brow furrows a little bit at that, but she purses her lips, and there's a determination in the set of her shoulders. We're not bad cops. We're frustrated with chasing down you and your companions, and we're tired of getting the runaround with Jackson's smoke and mirrors. So running short on patience, she's just gonna kind of let that hang in the air and look at Suzanna with this bit of like, she's with you, but like she's not, you know, not sure what else to say or do.
I think Susanna will just kind of sigh and she'll say, let's just bring her in. I'm sure she'll be a little bit more talkative when she sees the crap that they're serving for dinner in the jail.
Hmm. Well,
So the,
Lawrence, yeah, book her in, leave her for a night. We can hold her for 48 hours anyway. Give her some time to weigh her options. And she just sort of stares at the girl in the rearview mirror. And the girl's looking back, but her stalwartness seems to have faded. You see her swallow.
and And Susanna's gonna say, 48 hours would be nice, but just significant destruction of property. That's a 5-year mandatory minimum, actually.
Oh, sure. Once she's convicted, and Willow just says, like, obviously she's gonna be convicted. Unless, of course, someone wanted to cooperate and, maybe we'll be nice about it a little. But, I just meant before we even have to talk to her, really. You know, because she's gonna be formally charged. That's true. But, none of the other stuff has to be dealt with. The attorney, that phone call bid, all that stuff. We can delay a lot. There's so much paperwork.
I mean, if only we had a little bit more information about Jackson. Maybe that door, I accidentally left it open and was a little too loose. And,
Fuck.
with all the rabbits we've been dodging.
Fine. Look, he was real fucking explicit about exactly how badly he'd mess me up if I went running my mouth. Only thing I can tell you without risking my ass is that this kid named Christian hooked me up with the job in the first place.
We're going to need a little bit more than that. What does Christian look like?
Christian
Skeleton?
Christian Holt, his look, I can give you his contact information. He'll answer. Is 5'11", I don't know, athletic build, but kind of messy, mousy brown hair, brown eyes. He shrugs. I don't know, chin, cleft chin, whatever the fuck they call it. He's a DJ or some shit in town, I think.
Yeah, Susanna is going to pull over to the side of the road. She'll walk up to the back seat and open the door. Not in a way to let her out yet. She's just kind of standing in the doorway, and she'll say, "What's your name, kid?"
Jasmine.
What did she say her name was? Sorry.
Jasmine. Jasmine.
Yeah, yeah. She's gonna say, Jasmine, don't let me catch you messing around with Jackson and shit again, okay?
She nods. Shrugs. Yeah.
I'm serious. He's bad news, and you're in for more shit just by working with him than either of us could ever put you through. I think you know that.
She just kind of stares back at you. Her lips tugged downward. It's not like I wanted to do it in the first place, I'm just trying to pay for school.
Well, you can't pay for school if you're rotting in a prison cell. And Susanna will unlock her handcuffs and kind of step out of the way.
And she looks down, like pulls her hands back up, kind of does the usual rubbing her wrist bit, and then looks back up at you, between you and Willow. I'm not sure if she trusts it. This isn't one of those things where you pretend to be nice and then shoot me as I'm running away, is it?
No, no. This is the part where you go home and you think about all the shit you've gotten into. But I will tell you, if we catch you in here in this again, you're gonna wish that it was Jackson that you were pissing with instead.
Roll me intimidation.
Hell yeah. I do even have intimidation. I do. Haha.
Well, and on
Yeah.
top of that, it's the middle of the night and you're fucking La Sombra with your creepy juju. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
And
difficulty 5 on that.
I'm gonna add in one more. she's facing away from Willow at this point, so like
Yeah.
Willow is kind of behind her.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna fucking flash her fangs at this kid.
Okay. Go for it. Go for it. Yeah, make that a fucking diff. Shit. Throw 2 more dice on that puppy.
Yeah. What did we say the roll was in total?
+2, and then diff of 5 instead of 6.
And I'll willpower because why the fuck not? For the
Auto.
auto.
Okay. Okay. So that is.
And so it ends up being 4.
Yep. All right. No, that's 5 because you did the auto, right? Oh yeah, we said diff 5. Never mind. I'm counting the 4. Yeah. Okay. So she like is looking up at you as you answer no, and then you just sort of innately like feel the shadows kind of clinging to you, almost like someone would feel the breeze blowing around them, and it draws out the frame of your body and how gaunt your cheeks are, and for a moment you don't look so alive, and then the flames come out and her eyes go as wide as fucking saucers, and her skin, you can see and feel like how her heart suddenly starts fucking racing, clinging against her rib cage, and her skin drains from her face, the color completely washing out of her, and she bolts as fast as she can in the opposite direction.
Okay. Yeah. Suzanne just kind of watches after her as she's running for a little while.
Willow waits for you to get back in the car, and as you do, she says, "Hope this Christian kid's a good enough lead to account for letting her off. You did the right thing, though."
I hope so.
Yeah.
I know her type just kind of fell into this, and if she did blam about Jackson to us, yeah, we'd probably have her head. So at the end of
Well,
the day, it's probably best for everybody.
maybe she takes what you said to heart. Maybe we avoid getting another arsonist or what have you on our hands.
That'd be nice. But Susanna kind of says it in a way like, "Well, I guess we'll see."
Yep. And in fact, we will. That is where the rest of your shift will go by with you putting in your respective reports. You know, of course, the suspect got away and all that. But not before evidence leading to our beloved DJ friend,
Yeah.
etc. However you put that in. And then you will be back at the Haven the next night, as will Gianna and Ivy and Shiloh, when Carver comes running in from an errand gone oh so terribly awry.
Just toss me to the deep end, why don't you?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's an opportunity for the others to give some narration about what their characters are up to first, you know.
Well, I think now that it's kind of out in the open about her plans, Susanna would just straight up be having Shiloh help her with some of the like last will and testament paperwork. Like, she's sitting next to Shiloh and she's like, and just kind of reading it off to her. What do you think about this? Does this make sense?
and Shiloh is nodding. Actually does have some experience with that shit, albeit some dated experience. And
You no
she
longer use my lady in the will.
she comments here and there on some of the wording, and like we'll ask you questions about have you thought about this or that related to different, like, not just inheritances, but you know, how exactly your assets are packaged. Is it going to just be a direct handoff? Is it a, any sort of, what's the wording? In the case of,
Mm.
it's just so
Yeah.
that it looks like, you wrote this not intending for it to happen so soon.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And actually, sorry, if you don't mind, could I do one little bit of dialogue
Oh,
before
absolutely.
Trevor comes in with Shiloh?
Yeah.
She's kind of looking over the paperwork, and she'll turn to Shiloh and she'll say, I have a bit of a dilemma with all this. Maybe I could run it by you.
No Shadow nods. Go ahead.
There's two people I could leave my inheritance to, my investments to. My husband and my son. My husband, he's a good father. Shitty husband. He cheated on me a while back with some younger woman. We've sort of been separated since. Or I could leave it to my son. But my son has had problems with the law, with drugs.
Mm.
I don't know if it's responsible to leave everything to him. He might not use it responsibly.
She's gonna nod. Well, I suppose you could leave all of it to your son, but in care of his father until he comes of age.
Well, I mean, he pretty much will be by the time all this is over, I think.
Mm. Well, how do you think your death is going to affect him?
How does anyone's death affect anybody? Poorly.
She nods, but what I mean is it going to motivate him to make you proud and do right by what you left him? Or is he prone to losing himself to his emotions and acting? She says it like she's trying to be ginger, but like you've kind of already said this might be what it is. Rashly.
Can Ivy interject in that?
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
So Ivy at this point is probably like just sitting nearby playing on her phone. But occasionally she's looking up at Suzanna and then back down. And she's going, do it again, and then back down. And when Shiloh says this, Ivy's just going to say, in a little bit of a flat tone, she's going to say, basically, is your son going to put it towards going to college, school, just, bettering his life? Or is he going to do drugs?
She kind of thinks about it and is quiet for a bit, and then she'll say, what would you do if your parents just died and left you a good deal of money? What's the first thing you would do?
He's addressing this to Ivy, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's gonna be a pause as Ivy thinks about this. And she's going to say, Well, I mean, I don't think money matters as much to me as it would your son, obviously. But if my parents passed away, I would probably just put it all back into my parents' farm. But, and she's going to lift a hand. That being said, I do not have a tendency to, as you've said, make unwise choices. So I could tell you what I think what I would do, and that would be to honor my parents and try and fund the farm for as long as I can. But it sounds like your son's a bit different.
You say,
Carver? Oh,
sorry, what was that?
you go. You go.
You say that Ivy does not have a tendency to make bad choices, and Suzanna gives you a look that says fireworks.
If it just raises an eyebrow, and she's going to say, I did not frenzy. All but, and she's going to think about it. Was it one time, Maury?
Uh,
Because Ivy was like good with the fireworks. The others were
yeah,
not.
you did not go running off the boat.
Hey, Gianna just went after Shiloh. She didn't get scared.
Well, no, there was the one time without Shiloh before you guys found Shiloh.
Yeah.
Actually.
You said run off the
Everyone has
boat. I did not
frenzy.
run off the boat.
Everyone has frenzy because of fireworks at least once, and I'm happy about this.
Yeah, I think Ivy frenzied the one time that Suzanna
once.
dove into the water.
Yeah, maybe.
Alright, so yeah.
But yeah, Ivy's just gonna say it only happened once that I frenzied, and I happen to think fireworks are pretty cool. So there.
Carver walking in is going to set his bag down and just plop into an empty chair, and he'll say, "Fireworks are cool." And he'll look to Suzanna and say, "Why don't you just tell him not to do any drugs?"
She'll kind of blink at you and she'll say, "You think I haven't told my son not to do drugs?"
I'm absolutely sorry you've told him not to do drugs. But have you done it with what you can do now?
She'll pause as she realizes what you're saying.
Is she about to anger frenzy?
No, that's not really an anger frenzy worthy thing for her. Though she definitely doesn't
On
like
Carver's end, like, this is legitimate curiosity. Like, he's not saying it with, like, you should have done this earlier, or, like, it's just, it's said as calmly as one might comment, oh, it's raining outside.
If I can't trust him not to get into trouble without forcing him to do so via dog, then I think that answers the question for me.
But this could help him, couldn't it?
But that's her taking over her kid, Carver.
Shiloh is studiously observing and not commenting.
And Carver's just going to look over to Gianna and say, listen, if somebody had dominated me not to burn that first building where Jackson found me, I would be living a very different life right now. Probably without a lot of the regret that I had. And he'll look back to Suzanna and say, it's not like you're hurting him or doing anything to harm him. By doing this, you'll actually be helping him, prolonging his life.
She's taking away his free will, Carver.
To do drugs.
It doesn't matter what he's doing. Freedom is freedom.
Ivy's going to go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go.
Ivy's going to speak up, and she's going to say, maybe there's a different solution that doesn't involve dominate. And she's going to think for a moment, and she's going to say, I mean, maybe there's something else one of us can do, or just, maybe she's going to kind of shrug. Maybe one of us can.
Ivy, there's nothing anyone else can do other than exactly what Carver is suggesting, and you know that. We all know that, and I must admit Carver said what I was attempting to avoid suggesting.
He's gonna look at her with her mouth open as she just got interrupted. And then she's going to say, there's always other options. As I was saying, I wonder, would it not be possible for, I don't know, one of us or someone that you trust to try and befriend him and keep him on the straight and narrow without just sacrificing his free will?
What I'm suggesting is exactly what you are suggesting. The only difference is my suggestion means he would actually listen. He would do it. That's the only difference.
And I'm...
You...
Oops, sorry.
Oh.
You go ahead.
Just convincing him not to do it. If he listens, amazing. That's a good thing for your son. And he'll say that looking at Suzanna. But if he doesn't, and then you go back and you try to convince him again and again and again, using your argument, it's his choice to go and abuse substance. You are trying to take that choice away from him. The only difference is with dominate, he wouldn't do it. Period.
I don't... She nods in Carver's direction. I don't say this to speak ill of your son. We are all subject to our own vices. I'm simply suggesting, as Carver is saying, that it might, in this case, be the kinder option. He need never even know you had the conversation.
And unless he comes across a vampire, he'd say kindred, it would never come up. He would live his life completely normal without any knowledge of it, and you could just keep it to simply that. You don't have to change his mind or force him to do anything. Just look him dead in the eyes, use your ability, and say, don't do drugs. Don't abuse substance ever again.
And Ivy is going to speak up once more, and she's going to say, okay, fourth option. Is your husband is he good with money?
She'll shrug. Somewhat.
And how old is he?
Same age as I was, late 40s. Mid
And
40s.
okay, she's gonna nod slowly, and I'm assuming he has no health conditions known to you that would cause him to pass away in the next few years.
Not that I know of.
Well, then maybe a good choice, good option. She would say good option. Maybe a good option would be just will the money to him instead. But and she's going to shrug. I'm no lawyer, but maybe there's some protections you can put on the money to make sure he doesn't just spend it willy-nilly. And then when your son is old enough and hopefully many years and mature enough and hopefully many years, less years than that, she would say, then he'll have the money.
Through all these suggestions, Susanna's quiet, kind of contemplating back and forth. And after Ivy's last suggestion, she'll say, "Thank you all for your opinions. I know you are all just trying to help, and I think that as much as I agree with what you've all said, Carver, you are right, and Chyla, that dominate would be a much more effective, hopeful solution." Do you all know why I'm doing this? Why I'm putting this separation between me and my family? Why I'm taking my death?
I assumed it was to keep them safe.
Keep them safe from what?
From your enemies? I mean, between life as a cop and being the longer you're a kindred, the more you're bound to probably make enemies. Ones that might be more powerful and can find your family, maybe.
Carver's gonna sort of nod but shake his head at the same time, and he'll say, "It's to keep them safe from this side of the world, isn't it? I mean, think about everything we've done. We've been kindred for 4 months, maybe. We've started a plague. We've attacked the Giovanni several times.
I have to say, with both of these, Gianna looks at you with, I didn't do shit. They struck first. You was the plague bug.
And Carver's just gonna like roll his eyes and say, "We retaliated. Then we have altered the entire supernatural fabric of this city by simply being here, by being what we are. Eventually, it's going to get to the point where it's going to bleed out. It'll affect everyone we care about, whether we are aware of it or not." And he's going to look at Ivy and say, "You are unfortunately a perfect example of this."
Be a silent.
seeing that obvious silent, Suzanna would look between them and she'll say, "You're both half right. I'm gonna say goodbye to my son to save him from me. To protect him from me."
Shiloh nods grimly. That's just as valid. Well, she wouldn't use the conjunction. She would say that is just as valid.
Carver's gonna nod. If my parents were still alive, I might do the same thing.
There's
Yes,
some
sir.
things. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
There's something. The night we woke up, Shiloh, do you remember that there was a man there that we met? A man who helped us wake you up? A human. And I swear to God, I'm forgetting his name. And I'm not happy about
I
that.
send it to you.
Gene?
I send it to you. Levi.
Isn't it Liam?
Levi.
Oh, Leah. Damn it, so close.
Thank you.
Yeah, Carver's gonna nod. He doesn't like me because the first person I fed and killed happened to be his cousin.
Yeah.
I remember.
Well, Levi was different. I should probably check up on him and see if he's still out there. But he knew things. He knew things about Kindred. He knew things about us. And he knew things about what was coming. And he told me that she hesitates, her voice kind of shaking. This is probably the most off balance you've ever seen her. He told me that I would be the one to kill my son.
Yeah, Gianna looks horrified on your behalf.
Ivy is wide-eyed, and her mouth is open slightly, like she was about to say something, and then it's like her face is just frozen in surprise.
And what he showed us, Carver's gonna nod. I believe him.
Anyway, enough about all this.
This is actually a somewhat perfect segue into some trouble that I caused that I'm gonna probably need your guys' help to make it right.
Susanna looks thankful for the change of topic.
I'll be honest, Gianna's face just says more, but she doesn't say anything.
Carver's gonna nod. I went to Katherine to try and research the vision I had. I was told by several people that the pit was familiar, that they'd heard about it as either a physical location or in some other legend, but none of them could remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, in Gianna's head, like, I'll be honest, there's no way she's hiding it. Her eyes are fucking wide as shit, and I'll be honest, I feel like she already knows what's coming up because Carver's the biggest fucking blabbermouth in the group. And she's just gonna say, "You didn't, did you?"
I went to ask her about the vision and do more research on my new abilities. And I should have warned her before it. But she frenzied
Ivy, what's
and
this?
ran from me like I was the devil incarnate.
You are the biggest dumbass I know.
Well, if anyone can keep her calm, it would be Emery, as far as I know. Anyway.
No. And she's like pinching the bridge of her nose, and she's just gonna look at you and she'll say, "If anyone knows about what you know and anything like that, you'd be dead and so quickly, Carver."
Shiloh
I don't.
just. Oops, sorry. You keep
No,
going.
go ahead.
No, you keep going. I thought. Yeah.
Well, it was mostly her just going like, "I don't," like, exasperated, and then she was actually gonna stop.
Okay. Shiloh was just giving you a dead stare with her eyes wide, and then a beat after Gianna trails off, Shiloh says, "You risked the security of yourself and everyone here, your sires, on I she looks at Gianna like just with that same look that you had just given when you trailed off that exasperation.
Yeah, Gianna looking back at Shiloh like, "What are we gonna do with this fucking moron?" I'll be honest, she says that out loud.
Carver already looks, bad enough, but he's gonna say she's the one person in this city outside of this coterie that I feel like we can all trust. That's why I went to her to talk about this and research it rather than to going to Jezebel, who arguably would probably know this, being the prince, or going to anyone else who's helped us, asking Nico or the rest of the Brujah. Katherine and Emery have been nothing but kind to us and helped us whenever we needed it without any restrictions or catches.
Problem is, Carver, is they've helped us. And, I'm worried that you've repaid that help by putting them in danger too, not just us.
Shiloh nods. That's a very distinct possibility, and what's more, helpful or not, Carver, there's a very legitimate chance that they could assume that you're somehow linked to whatever is causing the other woes of New Orleans. Who's to say why should you assume that they would? What if they decide to try to turn you in or cause a blood hunt?
I don't know.
What? Gianna just sort of like, take a breath in, deep breath out, We're going to move past this. We're not going to punch Carver in the face. But yeah, she's just going to look to Carver and she'll say, she freaked out. She ran. What happened after that?
And Carver is gonna say,
Oh wait, he
she
wouldn't
ran.
have known she ran out of that
She
place.
ran. She ran into the back of the shop.
Yeah.
Emery showed up, was very angry with me, and told me to leave. And then I came back here.
So Emery knows you're the cause of her distress, which I suppose he would have found out anyway.
And Carver's gonna nod.
Throughout this entire conversation, I think Susanna's the only one who isn't like immediately looking at Carver with that he has caused an issue. And after everyone's kind of done and they're going through it, she'll say, "I don't think it was such a bad idea. Actually, we need information on what this is, and I actually agree with your judgment. Katherine would have been the best person to go to. They are right that you potentially did put her in danger. But maybe that's a risk we just have to take."
Well, if she frenzied, I suppose as long as we need to find out if she's going to share, if they would share your secret with anyone else.
To clarify, I didn't show them. And he's gonna make wiggle his fingers to mimic fire. What I can do. I asked about Balefire and told her about the vision, and she used her mind reading ability. That's when she frenzied.
Carver, I can promise you, if she saw even an ounce of that vision from your mind, there can be no doubt as to what it meant.
Actually, Gianna's gonna look to Suzanna. It's specifically about that's a risk we're willing to take. Anderson over there. And she's gonna go, when did it become our choice to make those choices for others in this city?
I'm not saying that. Well, I mean, it doesn't sound like Carver forced this on her. It was her choice to use her mind reading, whatever it is.
In fairness, this is, you guys have told her about what happened with Katherine and everything before the night you guys met Katherine and Emery, right? I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Then she's gonna say,
I'm
from
pretty
what?
sure she's actually met Katherine once.
Yeah, I think she might have. From what you've said, at least, they already knew a troubling degree of information about your origins purely from the happenstance of your having appeared quite literally on their doorstep. Perhaps the risk is not as great as it might seem at first glance.
I do have to question, and this time she's looking at Carver. You and I, well, all of us know that fire is especially bad for most kindred. Emphasis on most, Carver. Did you warn her about that?
So
She nods her head. She goes, yeah, I can't blame Katherine in this one.
By the time I thought of it, she was already frenzying.
Yeah, you basically said, I saw this prophecy. Catherine's like, want me to look? You say, yes. She, basically.
Basically what happened, yeah.
She got no details. She just went in head first. And got knocked on her ass.
Yup.
But yeah, Gianna's just gonna nod and she'll say, I think we definitely need to go speak with Emery and Katherine. Just, if nothing else, to check on her. And at best, perhaps once she's calmed down, she'll have insight.
I agree. We should definitely make sure she's okay and follow up.
Shiloh nods. Agreed.
Where do we start? We head to her bookstore?
That's the only place I know of where we can find them.
Then I suppose it comes down to timing. Do you think it would be too soon for us to visit, especially as a group, if Katherine is still unwell?
I don't think we have a choice in the matter. Not with something this dire.
Given Catherine's reaction and Emery's, it might be best if I waited outside for the go-ahead to come in.
All right. I can wait outside with you, if you'd like.
He's gonna smile. I would like that.
And she returns a smile and nods as well.
Just don't, what's the word? It's not convince your love. Admit your love for her
Confess?
again. Confess, that's the word, thank you.
Was that said in character?
No, that was just me being a shit stir.
Okay.
Whoa! You say that. You said that in character. I was about to be like, nope. All right. Well, Emery's gone. Just
Yeah,
popped out
that
of
would,
existence.
yeah. Because we don't know yet that that conversation actually happened in character yet.
No, you guys don't.
No, we do not. Yeah, that's just me being a
Alex
bitch.
is not gonna tell you.
Sent you a message, Aaron.
Emery. Yep.
Okay.
If we get there, is it closed for the night sign?
We're gonna get there's gonna be a poster on the wall that says no carvers allowed.
It's just one of those milk cartons with Catherine's photo printed on the back.
Oh god.
Okay. And this is where we visit A1 Markon, who's
What?
hanging out at Ace of Spades with Dante when he feels a little abnormal. Aaron, that's your cue. Aaron!
Apparently, Discord doesn't like Markon because the second I said his name, it crashed.
Remember, you had it written down.
The literal second I said Markon, it crashed. But anyway, yeah, Markon was just relaxing alongside Dante. Just it was a normal night for them. And then he twitches, almost like something's bugging him. There's something just touching the back of his mind. And then he doubles over in pain, his mouth open in a soundless scream, his eyes wide. Until an actual scream comes out. It's one of fear and anger and just the general roided, pissed off nature of a Brujah who likes to hit things. Just whispering Catherine's name over and over and over and over again. Catherine, 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 Catherine. And then he's up. His eyes are almost blood red. His fangs are out. He doesn't care who the fuck is looking at him. He doesn't care that Dante is right there. He is racing off.
And Dante, as was mid-laugh, about to take another sip of whichever whiskey he'd picked for the night, and then you double over, and he pauses watching you, and then as you fold inward and start to, almost convalesce and then scream, he's leaning forward and almost reaches out to touch you, and your body jerks away from him, and then you're up and you're running, and he's speeding after you and heads to cut you off, blocking your path and yelling your name. Markon, snap out of it. What's wrong?
There's no stopping him at this point. If Dante is in his way, he's either moving or getting run over.
Well, where exactly is he running?
Well, I feel like he'd know where Catherine's bookstore is.
Why? You've literally never interacted with her in New Orleans.
Oh, good point. Yeah, and he's just running towards the direction he felt her fear frenzy in.
Okay, so go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, was it the fear frenzy or was it her just going blank, basically?
It was the fear frenzy.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. You will be able to get like a third or so of the way there before this is going to ebb, but you still have that distinct feeling of the direction. But I don't know if that's going to get you necessarily right to where she's at. Make another blood sympathy roll for me.
I will do it.
If you're trying to keep track of like where that goes.
He would be. And that's with blood potency, so we'll do that. 8. Diff 6.
Yes, because bullshit. Not bullshit, but things.
Shenanigans.
Yes.
Semi-child. Stepchild.
Alright, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 with a 10. Okay, so that's 4.
Okay. So the connection the intensity starts to fade because you felt this roaring in your blood and the intense fear and pain, but you didn't see what Catherine felt, and you didn't. The feeling was an echo rather than the exact thing, and the rage and the desire to find Catherine comes from Astrid, both versions of her, the concern for Catherine screaming in your head, and they start dismaying the scream. You have the migraine of the decade right now. as they're both like shrieking with, well, Dark Astrid is more vehement and like on the, like she looks like she's ready to fight. She's looking for any sign of anything tied to that so she can just attack it. Astrid herself is lamenting and dismayed and given that they're now basically forced into separate persons by the fact of, side effect of how they reside in your skull thanks to that diablerie you did. Well, Dark Astrid can't exactly take over and shut Astrid herself up anymore, so she doesn't ever stop weeping. And then this spurns you to reach back out, and you do, and you feel her just as afraid as before. And my God, if the feeling on your end has faded and it hasn't on hers, this must have been a catastrophic feeling of terror. And you realize that she's been on the move. Not as fast as you, but she's not where she was. She's heading in your direction.
Yeah, and he is racing towards that feeling of connection. She's heading towards him. Oh, he's going to meet her there.
High or low?
Oh, God, I love this. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 ba, high.
Yeah, buddy.
Damn.
Okay. And with that beautiful 94, that most certainly counts as high. If only Katherine had been so lucky.
Rip.
You are able to follow her in that direction and meet up with her. And the speed coupled with the direction that she's going. Well, I guess, yeah, either way, however the obfuscate falls off of Katherine, I don't know that she ever would actually let it, but like you're able to maintain that long enough to realize that she's headed to Dante's Inferno. And Dante, who is of course fucking following you, both of you burning through blood like nobody's fucking business.
Yeah.
And you are gonna show up at the Inferno, and business is roaring as usual. But of course, the kindred don't normally spend that much time on the floor itself. Where exactly are you heading?
Markon's instinct, because whenever he goes here, he doesn't go here to drink or to dance or to party. He goes straight out to the back to beat on some guy. Or get beat on in some cases. Not many cases. So he's going
Indeed.
straight to so he's going straight to the back. Because that's the place he's most familiar with.
Alright.
And that's the place where he knows, like, Dante and Reagan and all the other people he hangs with hang out.
Why can't I find the scene for the ring? The fuck? Where did it go? 1 second. What the fuck? Okay, well, I don't know what happened to that picture, so, or that
Yeah,
scene.
really. We just had it, literally.
Yeah, we literally did just have it. Oh, okay, I'm fucking blind. It blended into the swamp pictures and I couldn't see it. It's right here. Okay.
Oh, you are talking. Oh, okay, that's what it was. Okay.
Okay. So you get there, and These guys aren't there, but you get
Tilt.
to the door, and it's fucking locked, and there's no sound or response when you knock on it.
Yeah, no, sorry, Dante. That door gonna need replacing. He full fucking force just breaks that thing with a Spartan
Your
kick.
strength like fucking 10. It's gone.
Brother
It's
like brother.
It's off the fucking door frame. It's all bent to hell. And Dante would, probably normally protest, and there's definitely this moment where he pauses and he's just like, damn it. But he, like, tries to put the door back in place at least enough that nobody's gonna fucking see into the space. And then he turns back around, and you're both just staring at almost the entire rest of your family, prone on the ground, not fucking moving.
And Markon's reaction, like he walks forward and his head is like snapping up and down, left to right, looking for any sign of Catherine. Doesn't see him. Looks down and is like, "Oh!" And he's picking up Nico and Reagan by their literal fucking shirts and just shaking them like, "Fucking wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!"
Nothing.
Do I wake up?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
And
If you hit me.
I chuck you.
Dante even starts like shaking. Which one are you doing that to, by the way?
Nico and fucking.
Riddler?
Is that Reagan?
That is Reagan,
Riddler,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, Reagan.
Oh, Reagan? Okay.
Yeah.
Neither of them responds. Dante would have done the same to Nico. Tries to get a reaction out of Riddler and Evangeline. Nothing happens. And somewhere in the midst of this, Emery, after about 10-15 minutes of you guys trying to wake them up and there being no response, and Dante just staring like he doesn't know what the fuck has happened, Emery shows up. Also kicking through the fucking door, except he doesn't have to kick it because you already took it off the threshold. It's more like he's just throwing it open.
Yup.
And as he just appears and then stares and he looks around, where's Katherine? And then he looks at both of you because you're the only two upright.
The second Emery says that name, Catherine's name, Markon is fucking over to him like a damn shot, grabbing him by the collar. His eyes still look very frenzied and manic. And he's saying, where is she? Where is she?
And Emery, who wasn't actually paying attention to who the fuck you were, like, didn't register, you grab him by the shoulders and his face contorts into anger with his fangs popping out as he grabs onto your shoulders and says, is about to say something, and then you're asking, you said, where, Katherine, where is he? Why that name? Is what you said?
Mm-hmm.
And he just stares back at you, kind of holding you, with you both like in this locked position. And he says, Markon? As he realizes who the fuck you actually are.
Yeah. And not caring about that specific little name drop from him, is just gonna shout, "Where the fuck is my childer?"
And Dante is actually really fucking calm at this point. He is deadly fucking quiet and has casually walked to some of the many bits of debris lying around this part of the floor and has picked up a piece of wood and come to stand close to both of you, but quite noticeably on Emery's side. And looks like he is waiting for answers as much as Markon is. Emery glaring in Dante's direction with a look that says, I fucking dare you. He says, I don't know. I'm looking for my wife just as much as you. And he's like almost shaking his head as the implications of what you said start to sift through this fog of fear and worry that he has for Katherine. Seem to be.
And once Emery is, put up the front that he doesn't know anything either, Markon's going to drop him and just walk back, just like putting his hands to his forehead, covering his eyes as he paces, just whispering to himself loud enough for them to hear. God damn it, you need to be quiet, I can't fucking think! Both of you need to shut the fuck up so I can think and figure this out. Don't you give me lip. I will crawl in there and kick your ass.
Make me a composure roll. Difficulty 7.
Crit fail. Crit fail.
Would that be resolve composure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am not crit failing this. Fuck off, Emmy.
Yeah, that would not help us here.
Oh.
There's a time and a place for a crit fail.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you said difficulty 8?
Yeah, it probably should be 8, yeah. I said 7, but 8 makes
Okay.
more sense.
Okay. I am going to spend the willpower and take the 3 extra dice.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
no.
Yep, you're good.
Wait. I can't tell how many is that. Is that 2?
That's 3. Well,
3,
2
okay.
technically because you did get a 1, but yeah.
Yeah, dark mode is not helpful for figuring out dice rolls.
No, that's the only downside to it.
Yeah, I turned off dark mode.
Yeah, I'm turning it off too. As much help as it is. But anyway.
Same.
Yeah. So I got a 2.
So with the 2, you yell at them, and then Astrid just turns to look at you kind of in your mind's eye, and you just feel this deflating, defeated quiet cling to her. And you stop hearing the sounds of her actively weeping. And Dark Astrid, who was never weeping anyway, was as much as you were probably the one antagonizing or enticing you to fucking, start wringing Emery's neck. Because he blames her for losing Katherine. Absolutely. She blames him. She says only that if his negligence has resulted in her harm, he's going to fucking pay for it, before she stops sort of this constant angry energy and she goes, kind of retreats back into the corner of your mind that she tends to occupy.
With this beast.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. So after a moment, Markon just calms down. He pulls his hands away. Oh, sweet fuck. When we find them, Astrid, you can rip them to shreds. I will hand that control to you.
She doesn't say anything else, but 100% she is gonna hold you to that.
Yeah. And he's just going to turn and look to Dante and Emery and say, okay. I'm okay. I'm calm. I'm calm.
Emery still has his arms up, is facing you, looks a little bit on edge, and has moved somewhat so that there's a more of an equal distance between you and Dante in case the two of you decide to suddenly gang up on him. And he says, well, he first off does not look terribly convinced about your calmness. Dante, whether he is or not, his expression has not fucking changed. And Emery, looking to you in as much as he is willing to without fully letting Dante out of his sight, asks with a forced calm, what happened?
Oh, no. I felt something. And he's going to look towards the others that are still unconscious on the floor. It felt like Catherine was a flood of fear and terror and the need for security and safety. And then just nothing, just darkness, like someone cut the connection. Like it was a physical thing.
And as you say, like, Emery joins you word exactly as you say cut, saying the exact same thing.
Yeah. He's going to look up at him and say, I know you from somewhere. Where, we'll figure out later.
He shakes his head. It's not that much of a leap, although I didn't expect to see you again. If anything, I thought you were as dead as much as I thought Astrid was. Seems like that's not the case. Exactly. And the look is absolutely
neither of us are
accusatory.
dead. Yeah, neither of us are dead. We all just exist in the same brain pan.
Mm-hmm. His lips are pressed together for the nod that says that is a topic that is going to be addressed, but at another time. And then he looks towards Dante with his hands kind of up, but not like defensively, like cautiously at his sides as they have been. And then ever so slightly tilts up his right hand to show the palm out. I don't know who you are. I'm just here to find Katherine. And if you're with him, and then he points with his left hand towards you, then I'm not that interested in wasting time kicking your ass.
And Markon's just gonna nod. We all want to kick each other's ass right now. It's fine. Let's call a truce. Find Katherine, then we can have our 3-on-1 battle royale or whatever.
Dante silently evaluates Emery, but then gives a single nod. And then his eyes look over towards you as he backs up a little bit and turns towards the 4 sleeping beauties on the floor and says, I don't think we're going to get very far until these guys wake up.
No, but we can't stay here. If something obviously happened to them, they wouldn't be like. It's almost like they're in day sleep, but they wouldn't be here like this if they hadn't been attacked. So we need someplace safe to go. He's got to look at Emery. You have a place? You have a place with Katherine?
Yes.
Okay, we're going.
He's gonna shake his
Take
head.
your blade.
No. I don't think it's what you're looking for. And it's definitely not the place. And he's gonna like sigh, like his jaw tense, like he's trying to be careful about his words here, considering it's, a turbulent situation. I don't think bringing them with you is the best idea. And he's gonna look towards Dante. Maybe you can stay here and watch them or get them the move to wherever. Message going out. Emmy.
Oh, sorry. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah. Which one?
Take your pick.
Extravagant. Got it. So, as you're plotting this, there's a moment, and you're just gonna hear a as Nico sits up.
Markon is still standing next to Nico and is just gonna kick him like.
Ah, damn it!
Don't do that. You
Reagan,
scared
stop
me.
kicking me in your sleep.
I will accept this.
Wait, and then you just see him like feeling around on the floor. He goes, "This isn't my bed. My bed's much more plush than this. I paid a lot of money for that." And then his eyes finally open. He goes, he just sort of looks around, left, right, right.
And as
And he
you look
pauses. He
up,
goes,
oh, go
"Oh."
ahead.
Well, yeah, he's just gonna pause. He goes, "Hey, Dante."
Yeah, and right as you look up, Dante is staring down at you with his arms crossed, and this look that just says, "We'll get there when we get there." And then you say that, and he just looks at you like he still has this disturbingly calm aspect to him, but it's alleviated somewhat as he says, "Leave it to you to be the first one to wake up. Can't have anyone else hogging the attention." And he just reaches down and offers you a hand.
Yeah, he'll take it to stand up, brushing off his pants with the murmurings of, "Damn, I just got these pressed. I'll have to get them repressed again." But then, yeah, Nico's frowning, and he's gonna look to the others in the room. And once he's on his feet, I feel like he goes over and he's probably like kneeling, kneeling next to Reagan, sort of making sure that she's not hurt as he just like processes his own thoughts. And then he's just going to say, "This is probably the weirdest sensation of my life, and I was shot in the eye." No, in the brain, sorry.
Yeah.
I was shot in the head.
Shot in the
Okay,
head.
that's
Yep,
right.
yep. That does get an eyebrow raise from Emery. Dante just nods like, yes, that's what happened. What do you remember? Hello?
Fuck, I didn't realize I was muted. He doesn't remember anything from the night, correct?
Right. It's
Yeah.
like, you walked in the door and that's it.
Yeah. He frowns and he just sort of looks at Dante and he shakes his head and he says, "I remember getting here and then nothing. It's just blank." Like he's sort of like he looks flustered for the like this is him truly flustered. And he just shakes his head and he goes, "It wasn't like I was asleep or in torpor. It was like I didn't exist for a while."
I'm sitting up rather smoothly, but blinking, and looking around and like leaning up on her hands and pulling up her leg like she's about to have to like push forward into a lunge. Riddler catches Markon and then flickers her eyes across you and Emery and then Dante, and her eyes land again on Emery, and she says, "Someone want to explain what the fuck happened.
Markon is going to look down at Riddler and say, okay, bullet points. Do you remember walking in to the club tonight? Okay. Do you remember seeing Katherine? Going to assume the answer is no. This is Katherine's husband. That's Emery. We like Emery for the moment. Do you remember anything?
She just stares at Nico and looks around at Evangeline, and then like, realizing Evangeline's still out, like she just reaches forward and like grabs Evangeline's hand and starts squeezing, and does the same kind of look over of her that Nico would do or did for Reagan. And then looks back up at Markon, shaking her head. I don't remember shit. If I didn't know better, I'd say I was. It's like, and she just looks around at the place like she's never seen it before, even though she obviously fucking has. I don't even know how I fucking got here.
Hey, that's 2 out of 4. I'm gonna hazard a guess, and he's gonna gesture at Reagan and Evangeline. Gonna guess that they're not gonna remember anything either. Which is worrisome, because to me that means that somebody mind fucked y'all at the same time.
That's my least favorite type of fuck.
Emery's just gonna say, yeah, you and me both. But his like tongue-in-cheek response belies, doesn't suffice to cover up the urgency and the strain that you can see in his body language as he just keeps staring, and you see him like focusing on different points of the room as he tries his damnedest to see something, and he says, if there was something here to see, I should find it. And he just starts like actually walking, like he's making a perimeter. And then, he still keeps you guys in his sight, but his desperation in that he does actually let himself fully focus on the rest of the space, and he shakes his head as he keeps examining. And give me a second. Yeah, that's what that is. Oh shit. Okay. Damn. The frickin' wiki has a giant Ukrainian flag with no war on the front of it, too. Cool. Anyway, the answer to that is a very distinct maybe. It's gonna be a difficulty 9. But you can roll that.
It'd be great if you had a Catherine with Auspex right about now.
Well, we have an Emery with Auspex too, but he's not getting anything.
Fair.
I will spend a willpower. What's the diff?
9.
9. Okay. I'm going to spend it for the auto success then. Because this is a disgusting roll for me. It really is.
Okay. So that's
That's
3.
4.
We're at 4 with 2 10s. Wait, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
What did I?
No,
That
no, no.
should be right.
You're good. You're good.
Okay, so 4.
Okay. So give me a little bit of narration about what you're doing.
Markon, after taking a second to look at Emery as he walks around to observe everything and just focuses, he could feel this like remnant of a memory of Astrid doing something similar ages ago, decades or centuries ago. And Markon takes a step back. He looks at Nico, at Reagan, at Riddler, at Evangeline. He looks at Dante and Emery, the entire ring as a whole, how everything is laid out, the obvious signs of fighting this place has seen throughout the years. And then his eyes flash, and he tries to connect it all like a puzzle.
And as you're moving around, it's almost like a hip hop fucking ballet, twisted and with no small amount of blood spatter. You catch motions of the different ways fighters have moved on the floor, and the emotions of the combatants that have come here, the dances that they've made, and the purpose of the play stands out in high relief. But layered with that is a disturbing thread that doesn't fit the pattern. It shouldn't be there. It's an intrusive line, but when you look at it, you can't see the color, you can't see the string. It's right at the end of the tapestry, and there's holes where the rest of the movement, the rest of the thread, the rest of the weave is held just in place, but the space is somehow empty. And it cuts sharply off, like something was forcibly removed. And the way the tapestry lays over the room, the silhouettes of bodies and motions that you see, only someone running in and screaming frenzied. The language, as you sort of slow it down almost if it's in slow motion as you read that part of this tapestry laying before you, and you see this silhouette moving to the other side of the room, and another body that you don't recognize moving to confront her. And then it's as if they collide, and in the collision you see 4 more bodies fall to the ground.
Or not Carver, sorry. Markon. Got my wires twisted. Markon walks around following this apparition in his mind's eye. And he just starts talking. She came in from here. She was running. She was scared. She was looking for safety. She stopped. And he'll come to the exact spot that she stopped in. Here. Them what. Over there. He's going to point over in the direction that a figure he don't know came from. Someone came from there. Someone I don't know. So she
You
did.
can tell their
They
height from this. She was the shortest person in the room.
smallest person, like an ant in a room of giants. She walked over here, confident, like she was looking for her. And then she wiped it. He's got to look over to Dante. She was here. somebody else was here. That person, that small. He's going to lift his hand to their approximate height. They wiped the room clean. Not just the room, the people in it.
He nods, his brow furrowed, and for the first time since Emery entered, visible contortion of his face. And by the way, it's like the body structure you see. So you do see the height, but it's not obvious that it's female. It's almost like mannequins in the way they seem to fit with all of the details blurred. But so he nods. Whoever they were, we can't ignore this. Okay. Will, and he... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it was weird, though. It's almost... Katherine came running in. She was already here. She came from inside the room.
He nods.
Can you feel if anyone else was here other than us? And her, obviously.
Markon's gonna look around and I guess try to expand the
You see three other
tapestry.
blank bodies leaving the door before the figure confronts Katherine.
He's gonna nod slowly. There were 3. They left not because they wanted to. They were told, they were ordered, they left of their own accord. There were 3 others in this room.
Yep. Nico's gonna nod and he'll say, I'm gonna go check the cameras. Hopefully she can't get her grubby little hands on them. And yeah, I feel like they would have security cameras everywhere.
Yep.
So.
And you will be able to go do that. And Dante's gonna nod in the meantime, and he's gonna look to Riddler and then just nod to the other 2 bodies. Let's get them up and out of here and get this door taped off. And then he looks over to Markon. You think you, and then he looks over at Emery, and you can manage to collaborate on this one without coming to blows?
Markon, for a second, like tilts his head like he's conversing with someone. Yeah. The consensus is yes.
Markon's looking. Not Markon. Emery's giving you this look of like he can just imagine the conversation you're having right now, and it's just 3 different. It's just so many layers of wrong. And Emery just nods in response, and then he says, "Okay, then it sounds like you 2 have somewhere else to be. Nico, let me know what you find on those cameras."
Aye, Captain. And he salutes him.
Yep. And then Emery would lead Markon back to the twisted page.
Yeah, Markon's going.
And for the moment, Nico, roll me a honestly, I gotta, yep, oh, yeah, okay. Well, you don't have to roll this. You get up to the room where the security equipment is, and the door is, like, the doorknob is not supposed to be anywhere near as fucking loose as it looks in the door.
Fuck this bitch. Messing with my place. messing with my head. Them fine words. But
He also drew a
he's
penis
still
on your
gonna,
forehead.
but he's still gonna try and like win, and like
The door opens, no problem.
he's gotta, yeah, he gotta check the damage either way.
Yep. Every single last bit of electronic anything has been smashed to a pulp.
But well,
And like doused in something. Smells like
most
alcohol.
of these, well, yeah, most of these things have like SD cards or like some sort of like external storage things.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to look for that.
Yes. Roll me investigation.
Okay. Boop. Zoop. Wait, what's investigation? What's alertness? No, wits investigation.
Invest, yeah.
There it is. Yeah. I was looking over here on talents. I was like, where's investigation? And I am going to super dice this for the one extra thing. Because Nico is not the brightest cornbread in the box.
You mean willpower?
That, yes.
Okay.
I don't even know what I said.
Super dice it. I was like, you ain't even rolled yet.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
But. Hey,
Oh.
Roll those 10s, damn.
So that's 5. Huh.
Okay, well, so yeah, you do indeed fucking find the external drive, well, not the external, but like the internal drive piece that, somehow, with all your conversations with Reagan, you've remembered that part, and, high or low?
Hi.
It is somehow undamaged.
Oh my god. Oh, imagine if I had said low. Ooh. But yeah, no. He's basically just gonna fucking trot his way to plug this into something else. We ain't touching any of this shit right now.
Yep.
Like, he'll take over Eva's office, he'll take over his office, somebody's office is getting raided.
Yep. So, like, he pulls the drive out kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay. Alright. And
He taking the drive with him.
yep. And I think here is where we will pause for a take 5.
Ooh.
Markon and Emery are going to get to the twisted page just as a GG SUV filled with coterie mates pulls up.
The fuckhead brigade arrives.
Yeah, that. And, who exactly is getting out of the car first? Or, what's that situation looking like?
Well, two of the Moby characters have actually been here, so I don't think I'm pretty sure Suzanna has not been here. As far
To
as
the
I can
Twisted
tell.
Page? You absolutely have. You guys were all there
What?
that first night when you met Jezebel and all that.
Wait, we're at Catherine's book.
Yeah, you guys went to the Twisted Page. That's where you said you were gonna go look for.
Oh,
We didn't
yeah, sorry. I
change.
thought we went to the.
Oh,
we
wait,
went
there
to
it goes.
Catherine's
Yeah,
book
I
first.
hadn't. I was grabbing your token, so I
Like,
hadn't moved you
my
yet.
face. My brain is not working right now. So.
You're fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Suzanna will definitely be going in.
All right.
Yeah, Gianna's popping out and going in.
Well, Shiloh
Because
promised to wait.
Catherine's not in this scene, so.
Yeah. Gonna be a minute before she's
Yeah,
in any
Carver.
scenes.
Yeah, Carver is. He's out of the car, but he's waiting outside with Shiloh.
Yep. And I assume Ivy's going in.
Yeah, Ivy follows behind the other two.
Okay. You three will walk in behind, and Emery is gonna wheel on you. You two fucking go in, and just blink at all of you before saying, "What are you doing here?" With the tone of like,
Markon is
"I don't got time for this." Sorry. Go ahead.
Markon's looking between Emery and them. He's just gonna lean over and say, "Want me to kick him out? I can kick him out."
And Gianna's gonna like lift her hands in like a placating sort of thing, and she's just gonna say, "We just came to check on Catherine. We knew that Carver had freaked her out, and we were worried."
And he stiffens noticeably, and you like almost kind of see his fangs like popping out for a moment, and he gives each of you a very square gaze, and he says, "Catherine is nowhere to be found. It appears she's been taken."
Markon is gonna walk forward and put a hand on Emery's shoulder. "Peace, broski. Peace, peace." Yeah. So
You
who's this Carver kid?
bit.
And pressing his lips together, but looking at Markon, like, yeah, he relents a little bit, but he does gesture at the three of you as if, "Would you like to explain?"
Coterie mate. He didn't want to come in case he upset you. And she says this to Emery.
Prudent. So he's outside, and he looks, actually, like, pays attention to look back out through the door, and then sees him, I guess Carver standing by the car with Shiloh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they outside the car or are they inside the car?
They're standing outside it.
Okay. Then he frowns, but he says, "I tell you what." And he looks towards Markon as if to say, "This is me being calm," or whatever. I forget the exact word that Markon used. And he says, "I won't rend Carver limb from limb if he agrees to come in here and tell me what affected Catherine so badly."
Sounds good. I'll grab him. And
Yeah, no, Gianna's putting her hand up at you and she'll say, "You're not touching him."
He's. Are
good
you?
luck stopping him. Yeah, he's celerity'd out. He's already fucking gone.
She. He's got 5 dots
She
in
would be standing in
celerity.
front of the door.
Well, he's got 5 dots in celerity, don't you, for Markon?
He's got 5 in celerity and potence and fortitude and dementation.
Well, yes. So my point is, you have what, 2 dots, Gigi?
3, thank you.
3. Okay.
A respectable 3.
Okay, 3. Okay, we can make this a contested roll. Celerity BP between the two of you.
You know what? Let's fucking go.
Okay.
All right.
And we're just doing straight celerity and the
Blood
BP.
potency. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know I'm about to lose, but I'm gonna try, damn it. And you know what? Really? Willpower for the extra 3 dice, thank you.
Okay.
We should do that. Yeah.
The dice will
Did it
come
not go
out
through?
tomorrow. Bet your
Really?
bottom roll that's tomorrow. There'll be crit fails. And
You know, hold on. Oh, there it goes. Oh, fuck,
rolled
finally.
twice. Well, I'm guessing you're gonna want to roll the top one since
Yeah.
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 You roll those 10s.
Yeah,
One
fuck
second.
you. I was being nice. I decided not to willpower.
Well, I mean, come on. You're the older, stronger one, so you know.
Eight.
Did you? Well, I don't see them. Am I lagging?
Yeah,
Maybe I should
there it
refresh.
is. No,
Oh,
it's
there it
lagging.
goes.
It's lagging.
Okay. Okay. Then, yeah. Holy shit! Little OGG beat you to it. She is at the door before you get there.
Ooh.
She does block you.
Nice.
Like she gets in your path. What happens from there, we can continue determining. But she does get in front of you.
Yeah, and Markon is just standing there staring at her, and he's just gonna say, "You do not want to get in the way of me finding out what happened to my child. Or get out of the
You'll
way,
get
or I'll make you."
your answers. But I'm not gonna let you hurt him. Not right
I
now.
didn't say it. I didn't say
She
anything
adds-
about hurting him.
And she's gonna look at you. And she's just gonna shake her head and she'll say, I can see it in your eyes.
Oh,
Monster
you don't
meet
want.
monster.
Oh, you don't want to know what's behind these eyes. I could rip
I
you
will get
all
him.
I could rip you all to shreds without ever changing a beat.
Furthermore, why I'm going to get him. Give me a moment.
Shiloh just
10
abrupt.
seconds.
Meanwhile, whatever Carver's doing, whether he's watching through the doors or not, Shiloh very abruptly jumped in front of you without any fucking explanation at all, except she's looking towards the inside of the building.
Carver is. He was looking inside, glanced at Shiloh, looking inside, glanced at Shiloh, maybe more Shiloh than he should have been. And then Gigi is there with this blonde Viking motherfucker, and he's just like, He pulled out a Bic. A Bic lighter.
What did Markon say? I didn't actually hear it.
You have 10 seconds, I think.
The
Okay.
very last part. Yeah.
Yeah, she's waiting for him to move back by Emery. I'm not moving if it just gives you the chance to race past me again.
And he'll take 2 steps back. Go on.
She narrows her eyes at you slightly, but then she just goes and she's going to open the door, but still stand in the door. And she's just going to yell, come on.
Shiloh gives you this look of like, are you sure? And then let her eyes slick behind you.
And she doesn't move her eyes off of Markon. And she's just going to say, it's going to happen either way. He's not going to kill him. And this is said to Markon, like, you're not touching him.
And he's just smiling. It's not a nice smile.
Shiloh looks grim, but she turns back towards Carver. Are you sure about this?
No. But, Gigi's faster than me, and I think he's at least at Gigi's level. I don't think I can get away.
She nods. Then we meet it together. And she reaches down and supportively takes your hand.
Yeah, he's gonna hold on to her hand and just go forward.
And I would like to note that, like, Gianna lets them in, of course, obviously, and but she positions herself so that she is posed in front of both of them, very much in a "you're gonna murder me first if you're gonna try and hurt him," basically, to Markon.
Nope. And Shiloh, like, pushes the door, like, takes it from you so you can do that. You have the freedom to move forward. And then lets it close behind Shiloh and Carver. And then stands to Carver's side, like, kind of moving so that, like, Gianna's still in front of them both, but then Shiloh and Carver are basically a little bit to the side. Inside the room.
Markon is, once they're inside, he's gonna jog back to Emery and say, "You got this, broski. If you want to rip them to shreds, give me a word beforehand. I'll try to keep the blood splatters to a minimum."
And Emery is just waiting with this stony look, like him squeezing his arms at having to be patient and calm as you guys have this pissing contest over whether or not you're gonna rip the miscreant to shreds. And then you make this comment about bloodshed to minimum, and he dryly says, "That would be appreciated. Katherine would oh so hate to see her book sullied." And he exhales, kind of tilting his jaw, his head side to side as he releases his arms and steps forward. And he gestures toward Carver. "I think you have some explaining to do."
And Carver's just looking around. Where's Katherine?
"She's been kidnapped, from what we've been able to gather. And I can't understand.
Oh,
And while it is an exceedingly unexpected circumstance, I still can't help but to think it has something to do with whatever you told her. You must have told her something." And there's, despite his voice sounding strong and as if he's trying to be logical about it, there's this burning longing for what he's saying to be right, for there to be something that he can attach to in all this.
and Carver's gonna say, there was a vision. I had a vision not too long ago, and I know that she was good with that kind of thing. Since she's helped us before, so I told her that I had one. And by the time I realized that I should probably have warned her that there was blood and fire involved, she was already inside my mind. And that's when she frenzied, and then you came in.
And he's gonna nod. Okay. So you asked her this question, and it scared her. What were you asking, and what did she see?
It's. And he's gonna turn his head and look to Shiloh, like the silent question of, like, should I just say everything at this point?
And as she's like looking back to you, Emery just says point blank, if you try to tiptoe around answering it at this point, best case scenario is that the 5 of you fight your way out of here against both of us, and I'm pretty damn sure that's not going to go well for anyone here but us.
Yeah. I think this Gianna's gonna actually pipe up and she'll say, this information could cause a blood hunt. Forgive us for being. We've discovered this information would cause a blood hunt. Forgive us for being careful.
And he's going to like grit his teeth.
That's not the right thing to say.
I don't
Suzanna's. Oh, go ahead.
care about anyone blood hunting you if it means I get my wife back. And if you're standing between me and Catherine's safe return, then it's as good as a blood hunt, all fucking ready.
Markon is just gonna nod and look to Gianna and say, oh, I'd love to see you try and stop us.
Susanna's gonna kind of move forward a little bit. She's gonna say, Emery, you know us. We've all met several times. I've come here in confidence to you and Katherine. And I know the others have too. And we came here tonight voluntarily, without being asked, of our own accord, because we wanted to help. We are not trying to get in the way of you finding your wife. And if we knew where she was, we would have gone there.
And
So for everybody's comfort, let's all put our dicks away and let's try and actually figure this out instead of posturing. Please.
And the fact that I know and believe that, Suzanna, he says your name to emphasize the point, is the only reason I'm giving him the option to explain it. Katherine has a soft spot for all of you. And I found you amusing enough in my own right. I don't go out of my way to bully neonates. This isn't a pissing contest. I have known that woman for over a century. And we know one another on a level deeper than I think any of you can yet understand. So I'm asking you again, tell me what happened.
Just show him the vision.
He's gonna nod slowly.
But she is going to look at Emery and Markon. She's going to say, obviously, there's fire. Prepare yourself. Nope, we're not going to finish that sentence. I was going to say, try not to frenzy. But I was like, oh, that might actually be too far.
But Carter is just going to lift his hand up and say, I asked for help. And he's going to snap his fingers, and I will make the roll.
Oh,
God,
yeah.
my chemistry dots are fucking stupid now.
Yeah, a little bit, a lot. And it was, you haven't, yeah, it was different. This Fucking shit. Okay, this is like etched into your fucking retinas when you close your eyes level of, oh my god, I can't believe that happened to me. So, the difficulty on this one is gonna be a fucking 4.
Okay, and it was wits chemistry. That was what we've been going with.
Yeah, because you don't have crafts,
Okay.
but also crafts is such a. It seems weird to penalize you for that, so yeah, that's
Well,
how I've been doing
I
it.
have crafts. That's not a problem. I have crafts.
Oh, then. What was it?
Crafts chemistry?
Whatever you didn't have dots in it at the time when we started, so we've been rolling with chemistry, so we might as well stick with that.
Maybe a cult.
Okay.
Oh yeah, maybe it was a
I
cult.
don't think it.
I don't.
Maybe it was. I don't remember. Okay, we'll stick with this.
Yeah, that sounds right, Elon. Yep.
Yeah, so the entire front half of the shop changes, almost like there's been a screen dropped down. Like, you know those old kind of movies where they drop the screen down, the projector plays, but it's not quite the same. You can feel the heat. You can smell the carnage of the blood, the viscera on the ground. You can look into the well. The perspective of it changes when you move around. But Carver isn't there as this is going on, and this happened instantly the second he clicked his fingers. And then there's that voice, the Dark Mother's voice that echoes throughout it all.
And once again, she stands before you in her dark robe with only the lower portion of her face and her blood red lips visible. And he charges her with this question. There is more coming. How can I prepare? How can I protect my friends? She asks Carver if he would give his heart to do so. And he insists that he already has, and that they have done as much for him 10 times over, and that he would do it again in a heartbeat. And even as he finishes the words, her icy white hand plunges into his chest, causing his body to cave forward with the pain, as she seems to grab hold of his heart and rip outward. And then the scene abruptly shifts to everyone. It seems you are standing in front of a pit, noxious, foul, and overrun with carrion flies and blood, bones and skin, broken and bashed, moldering away, and from it echoing screams that cut through your ears like knives, with a tone that chills even your undead hearts to stillness. And yet it echoes in your bones like you know it. It is familiar to all 4 of you, Suzanna, Ivy, of course Carver, and Gianna. And it tells you that the truth in your blood lies deep, and that you should reclaim what was lost. That the children of blight and blood shall rise, and none shall stand before them. And you are awash in a burning sea of green, the likes of which you've never dreamed or thought possible, as you feel it, as if every cell in your body is on fire. Emery and Markon see much the same, but instead of the familiarity, there is for Emery merely a recognition. And in both the pit, the voice, and the words, Markon has not any connection to these things, but feels the substantial weight, terror, and perversity of this place and this presence, and the feeling of the fire, the realness of its flame burning without smoke, but no less forceful in its devouring as it rushes forward on top of you. Suzanna and Carver need not roll frenzy, nor Gianna or Ivy, though I'm sure it is no less disturbing. It's as if some part of you is rooted in place. Shiloh, Markon, and Emery, on the other hand, are not so lucky.
And if I may add in one thing, if that's okay.
Of course.
To Ivy, Carver, and Gigi, Susanna is different in this vision as she watches it with you than she was the first time that Carver showed it to everybody. To the rest of you, this is sort of a sideline image that is being shown, disgusting and horrifying in its foulness. But to Susanna, it's almost even more familiar than it was last time. As you see the surroundings, she almost fits into it like she's a part of the puzzle piece that has just been slotted into this prophecy. Like she very much has been here before herself.
Ruh-roh.
Oh,
Oh, I think we lost Jamie.
there she
And
is.
now we got Jamie back.
Okay.
Great, I think my headset was fucking up.
Okay. I clicked the wrong one. There we go. Oh, fuck. You want to super dice that,
Ruh-roh.
Aaron?
Maybe both of them?
Oh, shit!
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
How much super dice do you think I? God damn it. With it being at diff 9, I don't know if it'd make much difference.
Well, it does keep ones from hurting you.
Yeah, I'll super dice it for Emery's because
Okay.
I need to send you a quick message
Okay.
because this is the first time this has happened. Still no.
Oh,
That rough.
oh,
It's got to say no.
Yep. Yeah, but Aaron, I don't know what that means.
Is he going ghost?
Are we going ghost? Because I feel like we might be going ghost soon.
Yeah, well,
Technically, it's fear frenzy, not anger.
yeah,
Right.
but that does mean you rip to shreds anything in between you and getting away.
Really hope Gigi's not still standing in front of that door.
Nah,
Okay.
G just standing in front of your dumbass, Gova.
Okay, so yeah, both of the big baddies that were threatening to rip you limb from limb if you didn't cooperate, basically just run out the they lose their shit fucking screaming, and the fire is throughout the entire room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just gonna run into more walls. Yep, they're fucking running through the door and off into the night. Both of them. And by the time they come down from that, they're both gonna be way the fuck away from here. So
Deuces.
let's have a little bit of a reaction inside the room. Shiloh is gripping your hand like she's about to fucking break it off, by the way, Carver.
Yeah, and Carver, when this happened, like, when he feels her grip getting tighter, he just he doesn't care anymore. He's wrapping her up in his arms, like, don't go anywhere. You're safe.
And how do you... Well, the fire closes in on everyone as the other two are losing their shit and running away. And then they burst through you. Roll me a dex dodge to see if you guys get out of the way, because you were all between them and the door.
We're all rolling next time.
So,
Yep.
This is gonna hurt.
Yeah, and the diff on this is going to be higher because they're stupid fucking speeding. For anybody that's got celerity, you don't have to roll at a higher diff. That would be at least GG at Carver, maybe. But
yes.
I think it's just you two.
It's probably going to be at a higher diff for Carver because he'll be dragging
That's true.
Shiloh out of the way.
Well, that and you were a bit focused with your chemistry, so you can roll it at diff 8 too if you like.
Yeah. I will do it.
So,
what are we rolling?
what diff will GG be at?
Dex
Sorry.
dodge
Okay.
to get out of the way of the. Oh,
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
I'm spending willpower to give me that one success.
I'm gonna guess my diff is 6. Oh my god.
What's my diff?
8.
Okay.
Did you say that
Maury
so
hates us, I
defeated?
guess.
Sure, the BP5s, motherfuckers, with stupid.
Oh no!
Okay, well, okay, Carver.
Hold
Irony.
on.
You
That's
know,
5 already because I
feel
spent
like
the
it-
willpower. That's 6! Did I drag Shiloh
I
out
feel
of
like
the
it-
way?
so I'm gonna super dice mine for funsies.
Okay.
There we go. That looks better.
Yeah.
So, Maury, Shiloh crit
Yep,
failed.
I got this covered. So
Okay.
you two and she's of course has had this death grip on her, and you like had your arm partly around her to comfort her, but you realize these motherfuckers are about to lose it. And Gianna senses it too, which to be fair, you guys all knew to keep an eye out on that because it was disturbing. You told him as much. And Gianna and Carver flawlessly pull out of the way. Gianna, of course, a little bit faster. And when Carver goes to pull Shiloh out of the way, while he himself moves in time to get out, and it pulls himself away from her, but he's still gripping her arm with his, like, the hand that she was gripping. You just feel her grasp break from yours, and all three of you, Shiloh, Ivy, and Suzanna, are bowled over in the wake of these two, running basically straight fucking through you and over you. And well, shit, this is awkward. I'm gonna say that you all take, let's say 3 bashing from that, and you can roll a soak it, but you definitely get bowled over.
I'm gonna spend a blood for fortitude to
Yep.
knock some of that out.
Go for it. Hey.
Imagine having fortitude. Can't relate.
says the gangrel, sort of.
The sword of
Hey,
gang.
I don't have that. Hey, I don't have that problem. I have fortitude. I just haven't used it.
Yeah, for what you are, you've had a surprisingly minimal amount of damage to your person for this game.
Yeah. All the damage I've had has either been you are torpid or you are fine.
Pretty much, yeah.
There's been no in between.
Alright, so, there you go. You two pull away, and dodge to the side of the bookshelves as the doors are, well, so there's these double glass doors with that, like, middle post, that metal post in the middle where they meet. Yeah, that's not there anymore. It's gone. So, yeah, and the doors are like one of them literally fell out on the concrete. It was probably like shatter resistant glass, so it hasn't exactly broken that way, but he just they're done so. And you guys are now just standing in an empty bookstore that you don't own, with the doors broken in, as Suzanna and Ivy and Shiloh groan and try to pick their busted rib asses off the floor.
Yeah, Carver is immediately going over to Shiloh and helping her to her feet.
I'm gonna guess that Susanna and Ivy were probably standing together.
Yeah,
Probably.
I think that sounds fair.
So I would say that Gianna, fucking Super Saiyan that she is, would basically just heave them both up, like one grabbing one arm of one arm of the other, and just here, everybody up.
Yeah, you're gonna hear Ivy mutter something, and it's something along the lines of something something Naomi something something. It's not too clear exactly what she was mumbling.
Susanna kind of dusts herself off as she kind of just looks herself over, make sure she's not like covered in dirt from the floor or anything. She'll say, with a very much a sort of, I can't think of the word, like she's very much looking down on them. It's very sort of like derogatory, and she'll say, for all the posture, for all the threats, one look at what we're dealing with, and they run.
Shiloh, who is trying not to suck in air and is kind of holding herself while she heals. gasps by sucking in air after she's gotten her bones back in place. And as she does so, she says, "In fairness, Suzanna, I have been twice surprised. I didn't frenzy myself. It's a raging inferno and clearly supernatural and hostile. I think no less of them for having not been able to withstand it. Katherine couldn't either. It's just more testament to how..." She pauses for once, not sure what to say to the four of you, and then she ultimately fills in the blank with powerful the four of you are.
With his hands on Shiloh's shoulders, just, making sure that she could stand, making sure she's all right, is just going to sigh and say, I had a feeling that was going to happen.
She nods. Perhaps next time we should only explain it rather than being visual in our delivery. Although it clearly adds poignance to the illustration.
Yeah, if I ever have to show this to the prince and she frenzies, I think I'm a dead man.
If you ever have to show this to the prince, and we're not all in jeopardy of being killed, I will have been very incorrect in my calculations of her person. Ivy, are you okay? Ivy?
Jamie?
Yeah, sorry, my headset's cutting in now a little. Shiloh asked if she's something, right?
If she's okay.
Yeah, Ivy's gonna nod. And there's something a tiny bit far off in her gaze as she looks at Shiloh, but it clears. And she's going to say, yeah, I'm good. And she's going to look to the others as if making sure they're okay too.
Shiloh looks a little bit doubtful, but yeah, she's looking at everyone too. And then it turns around and just says, "Oh," when she looks at the doors. Or what's left of them, rather.
Looking at them is going to say, I might need to send him a check.
Oh, that's probably for the best.
Um,
Go ahead.
sorry, I just realized. Wouldn't Dante have felt that?
Oh, shit. And not just fucking Dante.
Nico de Pico de Gallo?
Evangeline, Riddler, and Reagan.
Oh boy!
Oh, shit. We gotta roll for the whole damn group. Okay. Well, I want to, just because of the degrees of separation, how that might affect the stuff. Which actually, coincidentally, is a perfect time to transition to that thing you asked me about. So,
Yes.
while we're dealing with broken doors and Ansela, who had their
shit rocked by a
they're
fucking.
They're shit rocked by a group of fucking fledglings and somewhere in the middle something. Then well, technically she's Ansela, Potato, tomato. But anyway, yeah. So you, Mr. Nico de Pico de Gallo, are in Riddler's office plugging in a hard drive. And, well, you should be able to get in. Should know the passwords and all that stuff because it was set up for the club. So that shouldn't be too much rigmarole. But, when you get into it, it is a typical night and it has multiple different feeds. So you've got basically it's sorted by camera and the cameras are named by location of where are at in the building. So there's like the back entrance, the front entrance, the hall that transitions between the dancing area and the bar itself, and then back to the sort of service corridor that leads out to the ring. For obvious reasons, there are no cameras in the ring itself or in the super secret storage areas because that'd be awkward.
Of course, yes.
But those are your options.
He would go. So I guess the question is, most people that come to the ring, like to the ring, do they usually come in through the bar, like the actual club part, or do most of them usually come in the back door?
It kind of depends. If they're newbies or they don't really frequent the bar or the club all that much, they do tend to come through the front just because they might actually be there to dance and just kind of get their feet on if they've got an arrangement with Dante and whatnot. The rest of the guys that are really serious about the actual, fight club bit you guys have going on in the back, they do tend to come through the back bit.
Yeah, and so I believe that right now he would be focusing on the back bit. Specifically, he knows what time he usually gets there. So it's not like it's super late at night. So he was probably only there for a couple hours at that point.
Yeah, and Reagan would have come with you.
Yeah. So basically, he's just looking from the time he got there until about 20 minutes before now, basically, because he doesn't know how long he was out for.
And so, and I'm guessing he's sort of like fast forwarding through it, looking for signs.
Yeah.
Okay, so roll me a perception check.
Weirdness?
Yep.
Weirdness. And I am going to willpower this.
Okay.
Because, yeah. A-doop. Oh, I might want to do that. A zoop. A doop. Doop. 3.
Okay, so yeah, it takes a moment to adjust to the pace that everyone moves at, but you've been at this long enough. You've had other reasons to go through security cameras. You know what to look for. That weird sort of camera glare that just sort of means the person seems to be kind of surrounded by static, or like there's a lens flare, something that typically just makes it really hard to get any sort of distinct idea per se about the person's features beyond kind of their general shape and maybe whether it's a dude or a girl, but there's always something about it that screams I'm a vampire on camera to those in the know. So with that, you do in fact make out 3 bodies that seem to be distinct enough from the crew that you would recognize probably if they had bags over their heads at this point. So separate from, the Trouble Twins and Reagan. and who, of course, came in with you anyway. And they get there relatively early, a couple of them, and the other one a little bit later. Actually, probably a little bit after you and Reagan arrived. Roll me a. You have wits social. Yeah, wit socialize on this one because you may or may not have. Nope, never mind. You would have met all of these guys.
Socialize?
I was going, yeah, because it was going to be based off whether or not you had met them, but you have definitely met all three of these guys. So instead, make it an int wits roll.
I'm really try hard in this, so we're gonna willpower again.
Okay.
I mean, I never use Nico, so who the fuck cares about this willpower?
Isn't that just the fun part about having the side characters on screen?
Oh, I might want to put that in the description, not the thing. Oops. Stop fighting me.
Ooh, rolled up to 10. I like the labeling there. Let's see.
So 5 total.
Yee. Wunderbar. Okay, so the
Wunderbar.
guy that showed up after you has a pretty fucking trademark leather jacket and jeans that Nico noticed makes his ass look pretty damn good. Not that, that required a lot of help, to be honest, but, he's just looking, not touching. It's Otto. The other two, one of them, I mean, you don't see him a whole lot, but I mean, he's a Brujah. You gotta do the whole, one of the fam bit with him. Josiah. Because those tattoos, actually, when you get a chance to kind of look them, they're kind of fuzzy, but nope, that adds up. And then the last one was a shorter dude who, for some fucking reason, really seems to like white t-shirts, which strikes you that it was probably Reese, who's been killing a lot trying to learn how to fight, just like Josiah.
Yeah, and so Nico's gonna first call Otto.
And there is no answer.
Fuck you, Josiah.
No answer.
No, Peter. Not Peter. Reese.
No answer.
Yeah, he's gonna call Peter.
Hello?
Do you know where Reese is?
He went to the ring tonight.
Something weird happened. I need help finding Reese.
Well, is he okay? Wait, you don't know where he's at? Yeah, okay. I can get some people to help look for him. Is there any?
He would have said he left the ring at XYZ time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what time that is, but yeah, he would add that information in. And he's just gonna say, if you find him, just have him call me. Thanks.
Yeah.
When you find him, not if. That if is
not the best thing.
Nope.
All right. Calling anybody else?
He yeah, you know what? He's calling Jezebel.
Oh shit. Okay. She is gonna answer on the last ring and say, I do wonder as to what exactly gives me the pleasure of hearing from Niccolo Russo at this hour.
I thought you might want to be in the know that well, someone knocked out your girlfriend and stole a Malkavian from Dante's Inferno.
What?
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out. No idea who did it. Just know She came in screaming about fire, and nope, he wouldn't remember that. Never mind. Yeah, I realized that. Yep. Yeah, we're trying to figure that out now. Our memories are blank, and I can't get a hold of the ones that were here before whatever went down. Otto, Reese, and Josiah just not responding either.
Actually, I completely skipped a person you would have noticed who was there probably the last of all of them. She was short, small framed, with red hair. There's only so many redheads in the city, and Nico, being Nico, has talked to all of them. So you also recognize Deirdre, who you never saw leaving.
Yeah, that would have been important, Maury.
Yep, sorry. I was focusing on the other guys. My bad. You know this too.
So instead, he's actually going to tack on. Since he's like, he knows that the last person that was in there is the one that actually did this, so it's point of elimination. Do. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a decent jump to make.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, he's gonna add on. So instead, he's actually going to say, I think it's Deirdre. We have no idea where she is or anything of that sort.
Deirdre, the drunken neonate?
Your guess is as better as best as good as mine.
Is Evangeline
But
all right?
she's awake now. It was a weird situation. Not quite torpor, not quite sleep, just not existing. So I feel like out of all of us, it's going to have a toll on her more than anyone else. So I wanted you to know.
I'm on my way.
See you soon. And he would hang up and then immediately call Dante.
Well, Dante's just downstairs, dude.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. Yeah, never mind. Well, then what he's doing is he's going to message Markon and be like, Deirdre!
Not that Markon's in a position to answer
I
you
know,
right now.
right? I know. But yeah, and then he's going to fucking celerity his ass back downstairs.
Yep. And go ahead.
Well, yeah, he basically going to zoom in the door, peer at everybody and go, first he points at Eva and he goes, your girlfriend's on the way. Then he points at Dante and he says, it's that weird fucking Deirdre.
And he's just gonna frown and kind of shake his head, because unlike Reagan, he doesn't have eidetic memory, and unlike you, he doesn't talk to every motherfucker that walks in the door. So he's just gonna
Redhead,
frown.
drunk.
Right. And then he's nodding, and like Riddler adds in, likes to wear hats and long sleeve sweaters, even to a fight ring. She shakes her head like, I never fucking understood that. And Dante's just gonna nod at her again, like, the detail that actually made it click in his head.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Inobservant.
Reagan seems like she's finally starting to wake up.
Yeah, Nico, the fucking knight in shining armor, is going over and he like leans her up gingerly, just fanning her face.
And she lets him, because she feels really disoriented. Actually kind of moves like she's a little bit drunk, and there's the way her eyes are flicking around the room, she doesn't understand that disorientation, and it's scaring her. Even though she's not overly expressing it.
It's okay. Take a moment. It's a hard catch up.
What the fuck happened?
Deirdre knocked us out and stole a Malkavian.
What?
And I'll be honest, she probably is looking at him like, what sort of joke is this? And for once, he's very much serious. The only goddamn time in his life.
And she looks at you silently, waiting for you to, like, crack a smile, something, but you never fucking do. And then that makes it obvious to her that you're not yanking her chain. And she just goes very still, with her face falling into this cool expression that you recognize from moments where she's in business mode. And, you know, business is in, like, shit about to go down, gotta be handled kind of thing. She nods.
Mafia mode.
Basically, yes, that's her mafia. One of her
Muff
mafia.
mode.
Yeah.
Muff mode.
Okay. Yep.
Muff mode.
That's just so close to muff is the only problem there. But anyway, she just reaches out for you to take her hand to, like, pull her up.
I'll be honest, he probably like scoops her up and then puts her on her legs, like on her feet.
Mafia face is the only reason she doesn't do anything else except turn to look at you with a oh so subtle hint about the turn of her lips and the angle that her eyes are looking at you that suggests she's not entirely convinced that was necessary, but she nods by way of thanks. And the door, the busted ass door that Riddler has, like, boarded up and, like, taped with garbage bags to, like, you know, at least cover the gaps in the entryway.
Keep human out.
It starts to fucking glow. And then
Jezebel.
yeah, nothing happens. And then it glows again. And the door gets kicked in one more time. And yes, Jezebel is present. Standing, and you can see through the door that her office is on the other side.
And so, how long has Eva been awake?
You've been awake probably, well, since a good 20 minutes or so, because she woke up just as you went upstairs to see the footage.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and so when Nico had said that Jez was on the way, I think Eva would have, like, perked up a little bit, honestly, just because Jezebel's her favorite person, obviously. But Nico is correct. There's something about Eva that just... she's not coping well. That feeling of emptiness is almost like haunting her. And so she just sort of like spends the moments while they were waiting, just sort of like sitting on the ground still, her arms sort of wrapped loosely around her knees. And so when Jezebel appears, I'll be honest, it probably takes her a long moment to even react. Probably long enough for Jezebel to even say or do something before Eva almost recognizes her.
And with good reason. Because it takes active effort to remember Jezebel.
No!
She's looking at you, worried.
She looks heartbroken. And she's staring at Jezebel, and her eyes blink a few times as if like she's trying to like force her brain to work, do the thing you're supposed to do. She just shakes her head and she says, "She's done something to my memory. I barely remember you. And she just looks horrified.
Jezebel, worried as she is, walks forward, reaches out gently, and places a hand on the side of your face. And looks at you with a heartbroken smile. It's okay, my love. I'm going to take care of it. Don't you worry.
Yeah, and her eyes are actually going to be like almost welling with that icky, inky like vitae. Like she looks so fucking stressed and upset. And Jezebel is going to be able to, she can read her like a book, obviously. And she can just tell that Eva is just trying to fucking jam this thing back down in the trauma box where it came from. We do not have time for this right now. But she is freaking out internally.
And as you're standing there trying to draw the discombobulated pieces of your mind back together, she reaches out with the hand not holding the side of your face and gently takes your hand, lifts it to her lips, and kisses it gently. And then as it falls back to your side, she pulls away from you with her other hand as well. I need to go. I have a theory. I will let you know what comes of it. Dante is about to step forward and calls out to her saying, "Hey, wait a minute." But she just stares back at him, suddenly cold. And he furrows his brow at her. She says, "Do not test me." And for once, he fucking steps back, but he doesn't fucking like it. She turns around, and you all see her hand momentarily moving as if she's pulling something from her sleeve that gets reinserted into the place where, through the tape around it, the keyhole to the door would have been. The door opens again with that same glowing light and returns back the way she'd come.
Would this be the time that they feel Markon?
Yep.
Well, wait. We have to roll to see if we feel. Isn't...
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
She's walking away. It's basically all that happened in the time it took for those guys to finish getting to the twisted page and for all that other conversation to happen.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got Dante, Riddler, and Reagan. He's your brother, so he's 2 steps removed, Nico. And then for Evangeline, he is 3 steps
Cousin.
removed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you remember, well, I don't think you have it on them, but that does affect the difficulty on it. So, normal, like sire child, where 1 step removed would be 7, and then 2 steps would be difficulty 8, 3 steps would be difficulty 9.
Okay. And what's the actual roll?
It is Wits BP.
Okay. This is the one fucking time where I actually have BP to use. Yay. Let me change. Boop. Boop. Go to Nico de Pico de Gallo.
Are the Wonder Twins 4 or 5? They're 5 now, right?
I have Ava as 5.
Yeah.
What was this? Yes. Nice, Neeks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the wrong. fuck you. Doesn't count against me, but still, fuck you. And now the same exact roll for Eva.
Holy shit. Oh, fuck.
Go Dante. Go Dante. Oh, let me switch that.
Oh, sweet Jesus, that was almost bad.
Eva.
Okay.
8. Wait. 9. Okay. Sorry, I am. My head go no. Oh,
Fuck.
you know she's discombobulated. It
Yeah,
works.
it is. Yeah, she's really really cut off from that. So, Evangeline feels nothing. She only is watching as the light fades behind the blurry vision and memory of the woman who she loves more than anything else in the world.
Oh,
And
no.
meanwhile, Nico, Dante, Reagan, and Riddler, who are all in various degrees of concern, Riddler looked like someone fucking hit her when she realized how badly this had affected Evangeline. And she hadn't left Evangeline's side since that realization happened. Reagan also looks concerned, but she's in mafia mode, so not very expressive. Dante's gritting his teeth, and like his fangs are in like fluctuating between in and out throughout this whole exchange with her there. Her being Jezebel before she leaves. And I can't say anything, Emmy.
I'm just internally screaming.
And so then all of a sudden Nico realizes that something's wrong. There is this fierce flash of green, and you feel like you're on fire, and there's the snatches of a voice yelling at you. It seems to reverberate through your bones, and it is hostile. Riddler.
What is?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Do I recognize the voice?
No.
Okay.
And it doesn't seem like your beast wants to either. Like, your beast is scared of that shit. It doesn't like admitting that, but you know it is. Riddler has this sudden moment of, like, hackles raising, and she jerks her head around like something is wrong. And Reagan does the same. Her hands go straightening out by her side and her fangs protruding, and she's still just eyeing the door, her brow furrowed. Dante has the same flash of fire in his mind's eye and feels the same reverberation and burning sensation as you do, only more strongly. And he fucking snarls, and you hear a slam as he celerities into the back of the room, as he's slammed into the cinder block at the back.
Like he's running, like trying to get to Markon, or like
as
he's
if
trying
he
to get away from the fire.
Like he's running away from whatever he's feeling.
Okay. Yeah. Nico watches as this man almost knocks himself the fuck out. But he pauses, and his eyes are wide, and he's gonna, like, he can see that Reagan and Riddler are both like, huh? But it looks like they don't fully get it. And he's just gonna say, something went down with Markon.
And they're both like watching, having turned to look at Dante as well, exchanging grim looks.
You know, I feel like Nico is the type of man to do this. I feel like Nico would have, like, tracking on Markon's phone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I doubt Markon knows how that fucking works if you didn't tell him.
Yeah. He would not tell him shit.
As long as Aaron ain't got a problem with it, I don't. I will take Aaron's silence as a yes.
Yes. Let me track you, fucking Viking boy.
I mean, I'm not gonna say no.
If it leads me directly to you.
Welcome back, Elon.
Thank you.
But yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was good. You're good.
Yeah. So Nico's basically gonna fucking whip out his phone and just do just get into wherever the fuck Markon's contact is, finding his
Yep.
location.
You will see where Markon is and that he is moving really fast.
Does it look like he's headed in a certain direction?
I don't know, Aaron, does it?
Huh.
It'd be ironic if he went back to the fucking place where he had been kept staked.
He doesn't know how.
Fair.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that one.
So, do you think he would just look for just somewhere to hide or just try to get as far away as possible?
Somewhere to hide, because I don't know if he feels like. Sorry, I just don't know any place Markon would feel safe in the city. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking either, the ring,
Ace of spades, maybe.
Ace of spades, yeah.
He doesn't really feel safe there, though.
Does he not have a
Like,
haven
those
he
are.
feels safe in?
I mean, I assume he does. I just never thought about it.
No. And to be fair, he hasn't
If
been there
he-
that long.
Well, I was gonna say, if he needed to, Nico would have given him access to either Nico and Reagan's haven, if absolutely necessary, or he would have given him a space at Nico's private lounge, the fucking safe house.
We'll figure it out later. DM discretion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, he is moving in a direction. We'll see where it goes, but you were able to follow it.
Yeah, he's just gonna go over. He's gonna look to Reagan and Riddler, and he's gonna say, "One of you is gonna have to stay with her, or you can both stay." He just sort of wiggles his hands like, I don't fucking know.
Riddler nods. I'll stay with my sister. And Reagan also nods. I'm coming with you.
Yep. And so he goes over, and he's gonna go over to where fucking Dante fucking Hulk smashed his head.
Well, he didn't smash his head, but like it was
I
like his
know.
back. But yeah.
Fair. And he's just gonna basically he's gonna grab his shirt and he says, "Come on, we gotta go collect my brother."
Yep. And at this point, it is it's almost 12:30. There is more that we could cover tonight, but it's gonna go for a minute if we do. So I want to check in with everyone.
I feel like the others are probably burned out.
Yes. Should we call it for the night?
Yeah, I do need to be up kind of early tomorrow, so probably better.
All right. And then here we call it for the night with you going in chase of Markon.